Hello, Commodores fans. Welcome into the Falmouth Commodores pregame show. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose as we get set for this game between the Commodores and the Bourne Braves here at Durand Park. Danny, let's talk about last night against Yarmouth Dennis. The Commodores lost by 1 run in a tough loss.
Yeah, very close game, 4-3 final. The pitching was fantastic. Saw Tyler Ross get his first start. Sean Mullen come in for his second appearance. Aiden Maldonado got his first loss. All three of them were pretty solid. Again, only 4 runs allowed on 7 hits. Meanwhile, Falmouth out-hit YD, but they stranded 12 runners on base. YD stranded 4 runners on base. That is the major difference in the ball game. It's just those runners on base. Now, 5 times in the last 2 games, Falmouth has gotten the bases loaded in 5 separate innings, and only once were they able to score runs in any of those innings. So again, just runners in scoring position aren't getting home, and Falmouth, despite hitting a lot, not getting the job done to get those victories.
Yeah, it's been a little bit tough for the Commodores offensively. No question about it. Anyone following the team and the players would say the same. Jeff Trundy also has some similar messages with Katie Florio. Katie? Thanks, Coach and Katie. And Danny, you heard it there in that interview. Coach talking about how the team needs to get going offensively and that they will eventually. But Bourne maybe has similar problems that they need to work out as well.
Yeah, both teams pretty near the basement when it comes to offense. I mean, Bourne at 10th in the league in hits, 10th in the league in home runs. Falmouth only just 1 place above them at 9th. Granted, these 2 teams, they've played the least amount of games, so, I mean, that's kind of going to happen. But, again, it's not going to help themselves in the standings, especially when you're in a Western Division with a Wareham team that's towards the top of the league in the Cape League in hits, and also with Katuitt, who has been red hot offensively as well. These 2 teams kind of battling out for who's going to be the worst at hitting, and again, once they get into that groove, once they play more games, that will step up. But both these teams struggle offensively, and it's just a matter of who's going to be able to get that 1 extra run to put them over the top.
Yeah, the Braves and the Commodores struggling as far as power, but maybe if there is one difference, it's the fact that the Commodores have made contact. They're 3rd in the Cape League in batting average, and the runs have been different for these 2 teams recently.
Yeah, over the last 3 games, Falmouth has lost every single game, but they've put up 11 runs total. Bourne, meanwhile, they've put up only 5 runs total, so 11-5 run differential over those last 3 games. And again, you're right, Falmouth is hitting the ball a lot. I mean, they out-hit YD yesterday. Yeah. Just a matter of getting those runs home. They don't have much power in the middle of the order, and it seems like whenever they get guys on base, a lot of guys on base too, 2-3 guys on base, those runs don't come home. They're really good at walking. They're really good at getting on base. They're really good at first pitch, you know, for early in the inning contact. But again, just a matter of putting those guys home, which they've been able to do. But the pitching, when the hitting is clicking, pitching isn't. When the pitching is clicking, the hitting isn't. So it's just a matter of being able to merge those 2. And when Falmouth does, I mean, I think they will look like a really solid squad.
Falmouth Commodores 4th place in the Western Division at 4-6-1. Bourne 1 spot ahead at 5-7. This is the 2nd matchup of the year between these 2 teams. Franco Aleman getting his 2nd start in a Commodores uniform. We have first pitch coming up at 6 p.m. For Danny LaRose, I'm David Korzanowski. We'll see you soon.
A couple hours ago, we were unsure if we'd get this game in or not, but the clouds have parted. The sun is shining here at Durand Park, and we are ready for some baseball between the Falmouth Commodores and the Bourne Braves. I'm David Korzanowski, joined alongside Danny LaRose. Danny, let's get right into it. Falmouth with the traditional lineup, much like they saw last night against YD.
Yeah, of course, Hayden Cantrell got to lead things off. He's been getting on base so prolifically recently, had a couple of walks yesterday, including a couple of hits, so they're going to have that guy leading off, of course. He's followed by a whole host of kind of new additions. I don't want to say new additions, but they've been just shuffling around the lineup so much. We've seen Blake Dunn, who's batting second. We've seen him at the bottom of the order. We see Tim Tawa now at the cleanup spot. We've seen him at the bottom of the order. We've seen these guys shuffled around so many different places. They're just looking for anybody to fill in the middle of the lineup and for that middle of the lineup to get some power, because no matter who we've seen in 4, 5, and 6 over the last about week and a half, nobody's been really succeeding in that hole. So now Jeff Trundy is trying to kind of put some different pieces in there. We're seeing Tawa there. We're seeing Langworthy back in there to try to figure something out.
Hayden Cantrell batting leadoff, hitting .378 on the summer. That is best on the Cape League, with a minimum at-bats of 25. Pitching for the Bourne Braves is Sean Harney. This is his first start of the summer, the righty from UMass Amherst, third appearance. And he pitched against the Commodores back on June 15th, pitched 3 innings even, gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, and struck out 2. The righty to the switch hitting king, host of Durand Park, I think 5th playing right. Austin Langworthy at the 6th spot playing left. Another pitch fouled off to stay 0-2. And rounding out the order, Taylor Smith getting his second start as the catcher, batting 7th. Jackson Coots playing first, batting 8th, and Kevin Kendall changed his number from 27 to just 7. He said he needed a smaller jersey. He's batting 9th and playing short. 0-2 count still from Harney to Cantrell. Ball 1 misses high.
Hayden, he said that the one thing he wanted to improve the most from last summer to this summer was strike out less, and that's something he's done very well. He's a tough guy to put down, even when you're ahead 0-2, now 1-2. Because he's gotten a much better eye. He's got a much quicker swing as well, so he's been able to foul more pitches off than he was able to last summer.
The 1-2. Again, fouled back behind the plate. Hayden Cantrell thought it might have been in play, so he was busting out of the box and down the first baseline. He'll jog back the 90 feet and step back in with a 1-2 count. Harney throwing strikes so far. Rising junior at UMass. Last summer was in the Futures League and played for the Brockton Rocks. Had a 5.14 ERA in just 7 innings of work. But with the Minutemen of UMass, he had a great year in his sophomore campaign. 3.27 ERA in 66 innings of work. Made 11 starts. He's a local kid as well from Natick, Massachusetts. Spending his summer with the Bourne Braves. Second matchup of the year between these two teams. First one was on June 15th, and the Braves won 10-2. Ball 2 skips in the dirt. And a cloud of white chalk moves to the left of home plate. Now a 2-2 count.
Bourne won that game 10-2, like you mentioned. That was coming at a point where their bats were really, really quiet. They've kind of stayed quiet, Bourne still towards the bottom of the Cape in many offensive categories, but we mentioned it in the pregame show that it seems like when Falmouth hitting is on, their pitching isn't. That was one of those games where the pitching just kind of fell apart.
The 2-2 from Harney. This one back his way. He fields it and throws on to first. Wild throw. Hayden Cantrell wasting no time to move to second base. That'll be an E1, and Sean Harney does not help his own cause. Nobody out and a runner on second base.
He made a great agile play getting off the mound towards the third base side. He falls towards the first base side, was able to recover, get over towards that third base side, make the stab with his glove up over his head. Everything was going smoothly, and I could tell right when he delivered it that it was going to go awry because he threw it, kind of released it up around above his head, so the ball sailed well over the head of the first baseman, Bruiser, who's got some height as well. That's how high that one was thrown, where he couldn't even reel it in. But you could just tell from the arm angle, it kind of looked like it slipped out. Harney had no chance.
Uncharacteristic error for the Braves. They're first in the Cape League in fielding percentage at .978. Now Blake Dunn, the righty. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says home plate umpire Rick Emerson, who's calling the balls and strikes. Jeff Kinney is the first base umpire, and Dan Henry down at third. Harney now pitching from the stretch. He looks into his catcher, Jacob Campbell from Illinois. Lifts and delivers off speed, sliced back towards the Falmouth dugout, 0-2.
This is where you separate the men from the boys if you're Blake Dunn. I mean, he's been striking out so prolifically all season long. In his last 5 at-bats, he struck out 3 times, including a huge strikeout with 1 out, and the bases loaded in a 1-run ball game yesterday. Looked at a pitch right at the knees. That's something that he's going to have to, he knows he has to work on. He's got a chance here.
The 0-2, fastball high and away. Moves the count to 1-2. So Harney doing a good job to get ahead of counts. He's fired 11 pitches now. 8 for strikes, just 3 balls. Hayden Cantrell, plenty of speed over at second base. He's 5 for 6 on the year in stolen base attempts. Ball 2 misses low. Blake Dunn's parents were in town last weekend. They're in town again this weekend. In attendance here at Duran Park. Again, we thought we might have another rainout, but as of now, knock on wood, the sun is shining and the clouds are out towards center field. The 2-2. Fastball high and away. Full count.
And I know what I said before, that he's been striking out frequently, but even if he strikes out right here, that's still a crazy good at-bat. To fight back from 0-2 back to 3-2, taking some really close pitches as well, shows that the eye is getting there, shows that he's progressing pretty well, and it looks like he's close to bucking that trend.
250 average for Blake Dunn. Pickoff move back to second base. Hayden Cantrell was dancing way down in between second and third, and he actually slipped on his way back, but able to regain his footing and tap the bag safely.
We know the surface here at Duran Park is terrible, that if you get, 15 minutes of rain, then it's going to be a rainout. And I don't know, maybe even when it's dry, it's pretty bad because Hayden slipped, and we usually see him for sure afoot.
Payoff pitch from Harney. Fouled back into the press box, right to our left. We're positioned where we usually are at most away broadcasts. We're sort of staring down that third base line, looking out into left field. That's where the Bourne bullpen is. Pretty nice layout here at Duran Park. Commodores occupying the first base dugout. Home Bourne Braves on the third base dugout. Another pickoff move. Tag applied by Jake McKenzie, but he's in safely. We'll take this opportunity to walk you through the defense for Bourne. The outfield, Kyle Hess, Giovanni DiGiacomo. Noah Bridges out in right. Infield from left to right, Cody Morissette, Jimmy Glowenke, Jake McKenzie, and Nick Brewser. Jacob Campbell catching behind the plate. Here's the payoff pitch again, and it's fouled away again.
Brilliant at-bat. I mean, you said it in the first at-bat with Cantrell at the plate, but Harney does not throw a lot of balls. He's not right now. These are all good pitches. Dunn has only swung at strikes. He still managed to make it 3-2, foul off just about every good pitch that he's seen from Harney. Only a matter of time until he's able to maybe come around on something.
Righty-righty matchup. Dunn hitting 250 on the summer. Campbell setting up low and inside. It's a fastball that's high, and ball 4. Blake Dunn leads the team in walks, and he adds another to his ledger. Runners on first and second, nobody out.
Yeah, we know he's got a great eye, and he showed it off in that at-bat. I mean, terrific stuff. Like I said, swung at every strike, fouled off every tough pitch, and watched every close ball. That was a pretty good pitch in its own right. I mean, it was an obvious ball, but at the same time, when you're facing 3-2, you're getting a little fatigued just like the pitcher is. A lot of times guys might go and chase that up and in pitch and swing right through it. Not for Dunn. He knows what's a ball no matter what. That was a fantastic at-bat. Now Cruz has a chance.
Cruz, another switch hitter, batting as a lefty. He takes a fastball low and inside. So the first time that Harney has started an at-bat down in the count. He was up 0-2 on Cantrell and Dunn, but they both reach base. Hayden Cantrell's jersey already coated with dirt after a couple slides back into second base. He's the lead runner. Another fastball, strike.
Trey could use a hit right here. He was red hot, we know, with Hayden just about a week ago. But in the past week, about 3 or 4 games, he's 0 for his last 11. He was a guy who, him and Cantrell were that 1-2 punch. Hayden's kind of run away. Cruz lagging behind. But like I said, early chance to do damage.
The 1-1, Harney. Swing and a miss from Cruz, 1-2. Looks like he's relying on that fastball for the most part. Is the righty from UMass. Cruz hitless yesterday as well. Commodores falling out at Red Wilson Field by a score of 4-3 to Yarmouth Dennis. Fastball again, this one over to Jake McKenzie. He takes a step back and shovels it on to shortstop. And he's in safely, says the third base umpire, Dan Henry. Time is called. The bases now loaded. And Danny, we've seen this before. We haven't seen it maybe with no outs in the first inning.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it so many times, and I'll say it again. 5 innings in which they've loaded up the bases in the past 2 games, 3 times in yesterday's ball game, and Falmouth was able to come away with no runs in yesterday's ball game. Out of the 5 times in total over the last 2, only 2 runs, no hits with the bases loaded, no RBIs with the bases loaded. They keep getting it. Something's got to give, and with no outs, I mean, it's got to come.
Tim Tawa watches a fastball. Tag the outside black. It's 0-1. Tawa batting cleanup again, as he did last night. 154 average on the summer, just 1 RBI for the Stanford Cardinal.
How about that from McKenzie, though? Got to know Dunn has speed going to second base, and he tried to go for a tough flip on a ball that took him way out to the outfield grass.
The 0-1 misses low. And the count now even. Seen a couple defensive mistakes, perhaps, by the Bourne Braves. That one is ruled. Actually, it was a hit, but they erased it from the scoreboard. We'll see how it's ruled after this half inning. Nonetheless, the base is loaded. Tim Tawa at the plate. The 1-1. A little bit outside and at the shins. 2-1.
Tim had a huge RBI yesterday. It did come in the first inning. The reason I say it was huge because only a 1-run game and put Falmouth in the lead at the time. But it came with 2 outs. It was a 2-out single. We've seen 2-out hitting also been a bugaboo for the Commodores, but Tawa did not affect him.
The 2-1. Swung on and fouled. Trying to make a play on it is Nick Brewser, but he runs out of room, and it lands in foul territory. Quickly becomes a souvenir for some of the fans here at Durand Park. Pretty nice crowd on hand, especially considering the weather forecast and the dark clouds that we saw when we got here at around 4.
Yeah, the radar was telling us thunderstorm rolling in right at 5:15. 5:15 comes around, and it was sunny. It was sunny and no clouds.
2-2. Harney quickly agrees on a pitch with Campbell. Settles in the stretch, lifts his left leg and delivers. Another high fastball that swung on and fouled. 2-2.
David, I know we said it a ton yesterday, but in situations like these, it bears repeating that you have the bases loaded, and yeah, you want to do your best Hayden Cantrell impression and hit a grand slam, but with less than 2 outs, no outs in this instance, and all you need is one run.
Even a double play here scores a run.
Yeah, a sacrifice fly will get the job done, so you don't have to swing out of your shoes or anything.
Harney delivers the 2-2 again. This one, a one-hopper over to McKenzie. Shovels onto short, onto 1. And just like that, a double play right on cue does score 1 run. It's 1-0 Doors.
It does score a run. It's maybe better than a strikeout, but it still is one of the worst cases scenario you can have with the bases loaded because, again, you erase your teammates from the base paths except for maybe Dunn, and you put 2 outs on the board. So rather than having 2 or 3 chances with the bases loaded, you only had the 1. Of course, I mean, Commodores will probably take it. They do get a run home. They take an early 1-0 lead, but they're still lacking a hit or an RBI with the bases juiced.
The Doors scored 1 in the top of the first against YD yesterday, and then a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first inning gave the Red Sox the lead. Falmouth would tie it a couple times later on in that game, but they never retook the lead. Commodores with a 1-run advantage right now. Blake Dunn at third base and Zach DeLoach at the plate. The lefty right fielder from Texas A&M batting .263 this summer. Harney's going to stay in the stretch. Campbell sets up outside. Fastball, strike 1.
DeLoach had a brilliant day, game 1 against YD last Sunday, 6 days ago, went 4 for 4. Since then, only 1 hit in 10 at-bats. So he's a guy who we know can get red hot. We know he's got power. Just haven't seen it in a little bit.
This one cracked into right field. It's going to Die right in front of Noah Bridges in right, so Blake Dunn taps home plate, and the Doors double their lead. It's 2-0.
There we go. That's the Zach Deloach we saw about a week ago. It's just a weekend thing, I guess it is, for Deloach. He hits the best on the weekends, as he is now 1 for 1 with a big RBI. I said earlier that 2-out hitting has been really lacking for the Commodores, but yesterday Tawa was able to do it in the first inning. Deloach now able to do it. Let's see if they can put together maybe a 2-out rally.
Austin Langworthy now steps in. Didn't play yesterday. He watches a fastball high. Playing left field tonight for the Doors, 167 average on the summer. This is his 3rd summer with Falmouth. Not wearing any batting gloves is Austin Langworthy. Check on Deloach at first. He's in safely. So Harney, despite pitching very well against the Commodores on June 15th, his last time out was a little bit shaky against Chatham. That was in the doubleheader out at Veterans Field. 2 2/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs on 4 hits. The 0-1 is away, 2-0.
It's only a matter of time until Langworthy heats up, right? I mean, all his 3 years, this one included, he started off really slowly, but he just catches fire once July comes around. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Game number 12 for the Doors right now. Austin Langworthy had 7 home runs last year in Falmouth as he fouls back the 2-0 to make it 2-1.
He still finished only with a 206 average, but he had such an impressive summer because for about a month, he put up 16 RBIs, put up those 7 home runs that came all in about a week. Again, starts off slowly just about every summer, but then really heats up when the team needs him to most.
Zach Deloach at first, 2 down here in the top of the 1st inning. Time called by Rick Emerson behind the plate. Umpires wearing black, as are the Commodores in their road black uniforms, maroon lettering, and gray pants. Bourne in their home whites with the red letters. Another check at first. Got him! Nice pickoff move by Harney and a good tag by Brewser. And Zach Deloach, who was thrown out at second base to end the game last night, gets thrown out on a pickoff move at first to end the top of the 1st inning. We head to the home half of inning number 1. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Frankie A. back on the bump for the Doors. Franco Aleman getting his 2nd official start in a Commodores uniform. He is a big boy and quite a personality for Jeff Trundy's squad. Stands at 6'6", 220. And in his first start at Chatham back on the 12th of June, 5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Danny, he pitched on the 20th of June against Hyannis, but that start was erased due to rain.
Yeah, there are 2 players who probably have the biggest gripe with the weather, and I think that is Franco Aleman and Carmen Majinski, because Aleman against Hyannis pitched, 3 or 4 innings, and then in the bottom of the 4th inning, rain came down, and it was a 1-1 score. It was a really good game. Game gets canceled because it was too much rain, too much fog. Carmen Majinski, a day or 2 later, I don't even remember at this point,
they all blur together.
He throws 2 pitches at Wareham in the bottom of the 1st with a 4-run lead, mind you, and then that one gets rained out. So those 2, they lose starts essentially, and at least Franco got to throw a couple of innings in front of the scouts. Carmen got to throw a couple of pitches. But Franco none too pleased either because, again, you wake up that morning, you go through your routine, you go through your workout, you go through your stretches, everything, and just to have it all count for nothing. So Franco now with a chance to make it count for something. And I'm going to call this his third start because he got a lot of innings in that previous one.
The big righty from FIU delivers a fastball. Beautiful pitch right at the thighs of Kyle Hess, the leadoff man for the Bourne Braves. Seen Franco impress with the fastball and be dominant against Chatham and Hyannis. There's another fastball painted on the inside, black 0-2. Kyle Hess leading off. He's a Pitt Panther playing left field tonight for Bourne, followed by Jake McKenzie, second baseman from Fordham. This one sliced towards the third base dugout. Thank goodness for that net, as some of the Braves were moving out of the way of that laser.
One of the few ballparks that has netting to protect the fans.
They got some in the dugout at least, right, at the other fields? It's not like the guys are just hanging out.
I don't know.
The 0-2. Back to Franco. He'll take his time and throw it over to Jackson Coots. No problem for the first out. He's yet to fire a ball, and he looked sharp against Hess.
Look at that, identical first batters, only Franco Aleman is able to, do his job, whereas Kyle Hess decided to mimic John Lester and airmail his first baseman.
So now Jake McKenzie, the righty second baseman from Fordham with a .250 average on the summer, steps in. Ball one misses high. McKenzie stands at 5'11". Franco Aleman, a towering body on the mound, wears number 37 and delivers. Fastball low. Taylor Smith doing the catching for Aleman tonight. We'll walk you through the rest of that Bourne batting order. Jimmy Glowinski batting third, playing shortstop. Cade Balasso, DH in the cleanup spot. This one lifted into center field. Blake Dunn barely has to move. He's got the sun in his eyes, but he makes the catch for the second out. Noah Bridges batting sixth, playing right. Cody Morissette from BC batting seventh, playing third. Jacob Campbell in the eighth spot and catching. And Giovanni DiGiacomo rounding out the Bourne Braves order. Danny, again, Bourne, a team struggling offensively as well. They scored just one run last night in a 2-1 loss to Brewster. First pitch off speed, skips in the dirt.
Was that some slight shade towards BC?
No, I just...
You sounded surprised there was a Boston College Eagle on the
No,
lineup.
I just had to throw him in there.
Another local product, but this time from a Power 5
Correct.
school.
The 1-0 is an off-speed that drops in for a strike, and the count even 1-1. Jimmy Glowinski from Dallas Baptist up with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the 1-1. Goes to that same off-speed. I think it's a curveball, and he gets a second strike, 1-2.
It's looking really sharp. He's keeping it right at the knees, so there's not much Glowinski can do with it unless he wants to basically pound it into the infield grass. And on 1-2, I don't know, we might see it again.
Aleman delivers. Fastball, and it'll get past the outstretched glove of Jackson Coots. Dove to his right, but couldn't quite get to it. And a hit, first hit of the night for the Bourne Braves, puts a runner on with 2 outs.
So Taylor Smith wanted to go to an off-speed pitch. Maybe that curveball, like I suggested, go for it third time in a row because it was sharp the first two. Franco Aleman actually shook him off. He wanted to go to the fastball, and we know Franco from talking to him in the booth that, like every other pitcher, when his fastball is on, then all his other stuff is good, and he knows that he's got a good outing coming. So I guess he's trying to register that fastball. He's trying to establish his fastball, and if he got an out there, if he got a swinging strike there, he gets that confidence, and he's able to kind of prove that, yeah, my fastball's jumping today. But not so the case for that hit.
Strike number 1 to Cade Beloso, DH from LSU. Third start of the summer, and he was great last night, 2 for 3 with a double against the Whitecaps here at Durant Park. Righty-lefty matchup. Aleman from the stretch delivers. off speed, swung on and missed. Strike 2. Looks like a changeup to me.
He took a lot of speed off of it. I mean, whatever it was, it's probably one of the slowest pitches he's thrown on in the summer by far.
Jimmy Gluenke at first base. Cade Beloso with a 0-2 count and 2 down. Rocks and delivers. Ball 1. This is just inside. Right at the kneecaps of number 34 in white. Taylor Smith gives the sign. Aleman settles in the stretch and delivers. Fastball. This is just like that first out, except a little bit closer to the line. Throw on to first for the 3rd out. A little bit hairy there, but Franco Aleman smiling and giving a fist bump to his catcher, Taylor Smith. He throws just 15 pitches in inning number 1. It's 2-0 Doors heading to the 2nd on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center.
Top 2, Austin Langworthy will get another chance at the plate with a fresh count. He was up with a 2-1 count and 2 down. Zach DeLoach was on first, and then he got picked off to end the top of the 1st inning. The Doors added 2 and are up by a pair on their Western Division rivals, the Bourne Braves. Ball number 1 misses high and away to Langworthy. Harney with a 6.35 ERA entering the night. Roxanne delivers strike number 1 that's swung on by the lefty. So both of those runs were unearned in inning number 1. The 1-1 fastball strike. So Harney's ERA not suffering just yet.
Is it really
that first inning?
Is it really unearned if he made the error though? Come on now.
That's true. The 1-2 is low at the ankles of Langworthy. 2-2 is the count. Campbell looks solid as the catcher behind the plate for the Doors. Teammate of Aiden Maldonado's at Illinois. Maldonado getting the loss last night, despite looking pretty solid in relief for Falmouth. The 2-2 skips in the dirt. 3-2.
Maldonado now has 2 decisions on the summer, despite only 3 appearances, and Falmouth playing like 0 games.
Yeah, he got the win against
YD, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Game 1 of the doubleheader. The 3-2 swung on and sliced back into the screen. Count remains the same.
Has a starter gotten a win yet?
I'd have to go and check, but I would assume so.
I know they've definitely gotten a decision.
Yeah, because Franco Aleman.
Oh, yeah,
against
you're right.
Chatham.
You're right.
No, actually,
No, he didn't.
because it was 0-0. This one lifted and looping down the left field line. It'll land foul. Yeah, because that was a 0-0 game.
It was
until
whoever
the top of the
started
ninth.
the game against Bourne. I think that was from Samford. I'm blanking.
Strickland.
Strickland. I think
Gonzalez started against Bourne.
Oh, it was Gonzalez. Then
game.
it was him because he definitely got a loss in
Yeah,
that.
he did.
But I don't know if anybody's gotten a win yet because it seems like, whenever they go 5 or 6, a game's usually tied.
So the 3-2 again to Austin Langworthy, who's worked a good at-bat here. This is pitch number 8 from Harney. And he's fouled again. He drops the bat, and it ends up back towards us. He'll take a stroll over, and that's what happens when you don't wear batting gloves sometimes, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's a tough guy for not using batting gloves, but at the same time, got to be careful when you're not using batting gloves. You might launch him. Bat boy coming in with the pine tar. Yeah, going to need that. Good luck, Austin.
With a smile and a stroll back to the batter's box. He almost hit our producer, Tony Bianca, if that was a little higher.
And if there was no net.
20th birthday today for our producer, Tony Bianco. Everyone send your birthday wishes. She's barely smiling.
She's no longer a teenager.
This one fouled away again, so it'll be a 10-pitch at-bat worked by Austin Langworthy. And he's getting that pitch count up for Harney. He's thrown just 1 inning because nobody out here in the second, and he's already up to 40 pitches.
Yeah, credit Blake Dunn for doing it, and now Austin Langworthy getting into 3-2 counts and just mashing a bunch of foul balls.
Blake Dunn worked a walk. Austin Langworthy strikes out. Fans on the fastball, and he'll settle back in the dugout. 1 down here in the second.
So Austin now falls to 2 for his last 22. Has only 1 hit, since his first game played June 12th against Chatham. Now his strikeouts in 8 straight games as well. That's 8 of 9. The woes continue for Austin, who's, I don't know, the swing is there. He's fouling a lot of pitches off. He's just this close to straightening it out and putting it into a gap. We saw that on all those foul balls. Then finally a fastball that cranked up just a little bit he was late on.
Taylor Smith cracks one down the third baseline foul, and Brett Becker will field it. Taylor Smith was a guy who impressed in his first start. He went 1 for 5, but the one was a bomb into deep left field. Just the 5th home run of the year for the Commodores. The 0-1 from Harney. He lays off and takes a strike.
And Taylor's a really late addition to the roster because Michael Turner went home with injury. But I don't know. I mean, depending on how many spots they have, I would keep him around, seeing how you don't really have a first baseman. I mean, Barron Radcliffe showed it off yesterday, but you might want to carry 3 catchers just to have one play first.
The 0-2 check swing that gets a piece of the bat, so the count stays 0-2. Taylor Smith went to Incarnate Word his freshman year, freshman All-American. Now he's transferring to Grayson County College. One of 2 catchers for the Commodores, along with Troy Claunch from Oregon State. And one more is coming to town very, very soon in Matt Nelson from FSU. The 0-2, high and away. I'm excited to see Matt Nelson. Rising sophomore with the Seminoles from the Sunshine State. Was ranked the number 2 catcher in Florida out of high school by perfect game. The 1-2 is high, and it actually clips the bicep of Taylor Smith. Grimaces and starts walking towards first base. So Sean Harney has now walked a batter and hit a batter here in the second.
So I thought it hit his hand. Actually, if truth be told, I thought that hit the knob of the bat. I thought that was going to be called a foul ball just because hearing it sounded like the crack of a bat. But I think it did hit his hand because there was some, I mean, what else could it have hit to make that noise?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It looked like the arm to me.
Could have been the elbow protector that's made out of plastic.
So Jackson Coots now has a runner aboard with 1 out. Big lefty playing first base. He rockets one into left center field. Backtracking is Kyle Hess, who camps under it and makes the play. Allowed out number 2. Jackson Coots is now 0 for 1.
Jackson gave it a ride, showing some opposite field power. He's normally been a pull guy. Nice to see that he can put one into the left field gap, but just not into the gap enough. Maybe needed it to be more of a line drive in order for it to fall.
At bat. Number 7.
So now Kevin Kendall up with 2 outs and 1 runner on. Again, he changed his jersey from 27 to 7. He's a small guy, standing at just 5'10", and he said he needed a smaller jersey. He watches a fastball outside for a ball.
Yeah, he said his jersey was like one of the few mediums they have, I think, and that it still was too big.
Kendall, 3 for 10 on the summer. One of his hits was a double. Harney from the stretch. Fastball cracked into right field. This will be good for a base hit. Fielded by Noah Bridges, and stopping at second base is Taylor Smith. Now 2 aboard.
Kendall stays very consistent. He now has a hit in every single game he has played. Just one hit in each game played. That's 4. As you mentioned, he's now 4 for 11. And hey, a hit a day will keep the bench away. Kevin Kendall getting off to an early start here in Bourne.
So first time through the order, Harney has struggled. Gave up 2 runs, 2 hits, also 1 error, which was Harney's own doing. Against this man, Hayden Cantrell. It was a ground ball right back to the mound, and he airmailed it to first. This is a crack into center field, but barely having to move is DiGiacomo. He makes the catch for out number 3, so Hayden Cantrell with a good swing, but just couldn't find the gap. Commodores score no runs on 1 hit, leave 2 on base, but they retain a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Number 1 from Stanford.
Bottom 2,
Nick Brucer.
a 2-run lead for the Commodores, and Nick Brucer steps up to the plate. 1 for 6 to start his summer. He's a Stanford Cardinal as well, playing first base. He takes strike number 1 from Aleman. And Aleman's got great stuff. I mean, we were kind of high up in that game in Chatham. We saw a little bit more of it at McKeon Park against Hyannis, but he's got some zip on his fastball, and it seems extremely tough to hit. The 0-1 is a fastball that misses low and away.
I especially like the curveball because, I don't know, something about it just kind of has the perfect drop. It seems so measured. I mean, it doesn't seem erratic at all. It kind of you can track the arc and the time of it, and it's always on point.
Fastball back to Aleman. He throws to first. A little bit of a low throw, but Coots makes the catch. And the third 1-3 putout we've seen this evening.
Yeah, he's such a ball hog. But hey, he's been effective because, like we said, first inning, coming off the mound, Harney couldn't get it done. He's had 1 chance, and he blew it. And Aleman is so far 3 for 3 on some more tougher plays, too.
Noah Bridges steps in. Just 1 hit for the Bourne Braves so far, and it was a single that got past the glove of Jackson Coots off the bat of Jimmy Glowenke. Ball 1 misses high as Noah Bridges leans back out of the way to avoid a hit by pitch. Bridges, a rising junior at UNC Wilmington, batted .263 in his sophomore year. He's from North Carolina, grew up in Benson, the 0-1. Sliced down the left field line. It'll land well out of play.
Noah was doing pretty well little while ago. He had a 4-game hit streak going, but near the turn of the calendar, now he's starting to struggle. No hits in his last 3 games played, so he's hit a little bit of a cold streak, trying to get back into the swing of things. And usually we see guys this early in the season either start out red hot and stay that way, or not really catch on at all. Interesting to see a guy like Bridges who's been streaky.
The 1-1 is on the inside black for a strike. We saw he was a little bit streaky at UNC Wilmington this past year as well. His best stretch, he was 12 for 18 in the span of a week. That was from April 21st to the 27th. Curveball swung on a miss, strike 3. No chance for Bridges there, and the first K of the night for Franco Aleman.
Again, the curveball is just so smooth. I mean, you can map out the flight pattern, I'll call it, of how, halfway down, the first 30 feet, rising up nicely, the next 30 drops in nicely, and
fastball, strike 2. Aleman spent his freshman year at FIU, and help me out, St. John's River County College?
St. John's River State College.
St. John's River State College next year. That's a JUCO. The 0-2. Fastball that he gets a piece of to stay alive. And then he said he didn't want to sit out a year, so he wasn't trying to transfer from FIU to another D1 school, but he will transfer for his senior year. Junior. At Florida.
Yep.
All of them in Florida.
Yeah.
The 0-2 gets past Aleman and Cantrell at second base. Couple chances for the Doors to make that play, but it scoots into center field. And a 2-out hit for Morissette.
Another 2-out single for the Braves. They had one in the first, quickly erased with the next hitter. Have one now in the second. We'll see how Campbell fares with a runner on base and 2 outs. But again, you wish that you had that single maybe to lead off the inning. But how about Morissette, who's been struggling with strikeouts big time this season, or this summer, I should say. Has kind of limited them recently, and you mentioned his sub-200 average. He's trying to bring that up, and he's starting to do so. That's a great piece of 2-strike hitting.
Jacob Campbell, the righty catcher, swings at the first pitch, and it goes into the screen by us. He's down 0-1. 125 average on the summer. Was also sub-200 in his freshman year at Illinois. Batted just 196. Did have a couple home runs, though. 6-foot catcher. Weighs in at 205. A righty-righty matchup here for Aleman. Fastball, he's way behind it, but he gets a piece, 0-2.
First pitch strikes is the name of the game for pitchers, and Aleman has been doing just that. I think there's only one batter to my memory that Aleman fell behind and stayed behind. That was Jake McKenzie. Threw one pitch, it was a ball, and then McKenzie flew out. Otherwise, he's been getting ahead in just about every count. I have 1-2 all over my score sheet, and that's going to be a formula for success day in and day out.
Aleman shakes off Smith a couple times, goes to the curveball. It's nubbed over to Hayden Cantrell, who fields it on a run. Underhand to Jackson Coots for the 3rd out. Beautiful play by Hayden Cantrell. And the Bourne Braves leave one stranded. Second straight inning where they get just 1 hit and no runs. We head to the 3rd inning on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. It's 2-0 Doors.
Tickets are available.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday. What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center.
Western Michigan, Blake Dunn.
Blake Dunn will start things off here in the top of the third inning. Both teams have been held off the board since the top of the first, in which Falmouth scored a pair. Blake Dunn was a huge part of that, working a walk on a long at-bat and coming around to score.
Yeah, Blake is so good at walking. I mean, that's so useful in today's game, and he's not even a leadoff hitter, but he gets on base so much just because he's got a fantastic eye.
Carney from the windup. Dunn takes a hack and is just under it, but he gets a piece. Goes back to the screen. 0-1. Blake Dunn maybe finding a home towards the top of the order with those walk numbers and his solid on-base percentage. The 0-1 is a strike at the knees, and he's quickly down 0-2. On deck, Trey Cruz, who had the first hit of this ball game and loaded the bases. The 0-2. Off speed, tried to get Dunn to chase, but he laid off. Dunn also had a big play on the base paths when he beat out a fielder's choice over at second base. He's got tons of speed. 1-2 skips in the dirt. That was about a 58-foot pitch. Count even 2-2 now because he had 30 stolen bases this past year with Western Michigan, the second most in a single season in school history.
He must have been a force in the MAC. I mean, pitchers must have been afraid to face him.
He had a 374 average and was first team all-conference. This is a high fly ball into center field. Back ranging is DiGiacomo, and it's gone! Excuse me, it's a one-hopper over the fence, and it's a ground rule double. DiGiacomo throws his arms up. Some of the fans thought the same, but we'll take a ground rule double nonetheless. It's a runner on second with nobody out.
I thought that was a home run, too, because it's a clear fence, and it just jumped so smoothly over the wall that, I don't know, I thought the same exact thing. It looked like it bounced beyond that fence on the grass. There's no possible way to discern whether that was a ground rule double until DiGiacomo threw up his hands.
So the Doors have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. A very hard hit ball from Dunn. It went probably about 385 feet. Dead center here at Durand Park is 395. First pitch swinging and missing is Trey Cruz.
So what I'm seeing with Cruz is the reason he's got so many swings and misses. He's late on a lot of pitches, and I don't know if it's his leg kick, because his leg kick, he's planting his front foot before he's and the hands are lagging behind it, so his legs are ahead of his hands. Usually you want those to be synced up.
The 0-1 is over at second base to McKenzie. Easy throw onto first. Blake Dunn moves over to third. Now 90 feet away from taking a 3-run lead.
That's big. That's a pretty solid ground out for Trey Cruz. And this is a guy who's been striking out a lot lately, as we mentioned. And in that situation, you want to, at the very least, advance your runner. And that's what he did. He was able to make contact early in the at-bat. He didn't let Harney really get too on to him, give him a chance to get a strikeout. So Cruz gets the job done. And now Tawa, who's the cleanup hitter, needs to do cleanup things.
He was up with the bases loaded and nobody out as this one is skied into shallow center field. DiGiacomo ranging in, and he makes the catch on the run. Long run for DiGiacomo. Tagging up is Blake Dunn. Slide at the plate. Head first. He's safe. Delayed tag up by Blake Dunn. He was waiting for DiGiacomo to throw in, but he lollygagged a little bit. He swipes home, and it's 3-0 Falmouth.
David, what did I miss? I looked down at my score sheet to pencil in the flyout, and then all of a sudden he was coming home because I saw him fake come home when DiGiacomo made the catch because he caught it on the run. Took 2 steps and was like, whatever. But he kind of stayed hanging off the bag. I don't know if DiGiacomo just lobbed one in towards his cutoff man. All of a sudden, Dunn was coming home. I thought he was going to be out by a mile, but his speed is so electric that he slid in well ahead of the tag.
DiGiacomo had such a long way to go out in center field, and he made the catch. He's got a ton of speed at center field as well, and he fielded it on the run. He kind of held onto the ball for an extra second. Blake Dunn took advantage. Check swing from Deloach. He went around. 0-1.
And that's why coaches, when you're young, always tell the outfielders just get the ball in. Even,
Right.
if it's not to the right cutoff man, even when you're not throwing it home, just get the ball in so that it's an easier throw for everybody else, that the runners have to stay put. That time he didn't, held on to it that extra second. Dunn had already taken some liberties, gives him a much easier path to home.
Because as long as he's on third base when the catch is made, he doesn't have to tap the bag again. So
Yeah.
he was straying off of third base and then took advantage. It was kind of like it's like he was stealing home almost. That's what it looked like. The 1-1. High and inside, 2-1's the count.
So if you're DiGiacomo there, just throw it into your shortstop because you're not thinking that Dunn is going to tag up. You've made the catch so shallow in the outfield, but make sure that he has to go back to the bag. Don't give him any chances.
2 RBIs for Tawa so far, as that was a sac fly. Here's a line drive right to Jake McKenzie. Zach DeLoach moves to 1 for 2. He makes the third out of this third inning. But Blake Dunn, a ground rule double, moved over to third on the ground out by Cruz. And then some great base running. Moves the lead for Falmouth to 3 as we head to the bottom of 3 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Bottom of the third inning here at Duran Park. And if you haven't by now, I mean, we've told you so many times, Danny, but we'll say it again.
Grr.
What's up? What's wrong, Danny?
Follow it.
Follow what?
Follow our social media.
Oh,
How many times do we
our
got to tell
social
you?
media.
At Twitter, at Fal Commodores. That's capital F, and capital F, then A-L, then capital C, then Amadors. And then follow us at Instagram.
Amadors.
Fal Commodores, Falmouth Commodores. Just search us. You'll find our old English cursive black F. Just check it out. Facebook. Check out our website.
You know what we haven't done enough of? Plugging our own Twitters. I think you guys should follow us as well. We have, I don't know, we have some good tweets, I'd say. Ball number 1 comes low and into Giacomo. But yeah, we're reporting. Maxwell Trink, web reporter, is also releasing some great content. Katie Florio, our sideline reporter. Here's a 2-chopper over towards Kevin Kendall, who fields it cleanly and throws on to first. 1 down.
Franco Aleman, only 1 strikeout and has allowed 2 hits. But in this 2 1/3 worked, a lot of short counts, a lot of 0-2, 1-2 counts. That was a 1-0 count, only his second of the ball game. So he's not getting into deep counts at all. He's not giving these Braves hitters really a lot of time in the batter's box at all, and he's getting early swings and not a lot of hard contact. Even the hits were pretty softly struck. They were line drives that just found holes. Aleman is doing everything right and keeping that pitch count extremely low.
It's at 31. First time through the order. He only allowed 2 hits, no runs, no errors. First pitch, curveball, stays high to Kyle Hess. Is at the letters for a strike. Kyle Hess, a rising sophomore at Pitt, batted .254 with the Panthers in his freshman campaign, 11 runs, 33 RBIs. The 0-1 cracked down the third base line to make it 0-2. Emerson calls for time as the ball stayed in play down at that left field pole. It's 330 down the line and left. 360 in right field and 300 down the right field line. Ball one misses high.
Weirdest dimensions.
Yeah, that's bizarre. How do you go from 360 to 300 in the span of like
I feel like
20 feet?
somebody told us last year that they misnumbered it,
Okay.
but I can't remember correctly.
1-2, beautiful curveball, but Hess did not swing. And the count even now. Hess from Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. His cousin was drafted by the Reds, played 8 years in the big leagues, but he swings through the 2-2, and it's the second strikeout for Aleman tonight, 2 down in the third.
Remember back in the first when against Jimmy Glowenke, he shook off a curveball, just wanted to go with the fastball. Well, he does the same thing here, but this time with his fastball, he went further upstairs with it. He didn't leave it over about belt high. He went letters high, and that's always easier to strike guys out with because you're climbing the ladder. Hess goes up, tries to get it, and comes up empty. Great job by Aleman with that 2-strike fastball.
McKenzie shows bunt, pulls back, takes a strike down Broadway. 0-1 to the second baseman who flew out to center field his first time up. Aleman rocks, and here's a curveball that's lifted into left field. Long range for Austin Langworthy into foul territory, but he gets there in time to make the catch. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Franco Aleman, who is still under 40 pitches through 3 innings of work. It's 3-0 Doors. We head to the fourth. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center.
We welcome you back to Duran Park here in Bourne, Massachusetts. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski on the call on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network, with these Doors leading the hometown Braves by a score of 3-0. We've got a new pitcher to start at the top of the fourth inning. It's going to be Kerry Wright, big righty out of the University of Louisville, stands at a mighty 6'4", 235. He's coming on in relief of the starter, Sean Harney, who allowed 3 runs and ran into trouble just about every inning.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see Wright because the Bourne Braves have added some really impressive names from some impressive schools and baseball programs since we last saw them, Danny. Wright is one of 2 guys from Louisville who's been added, and Louisville obviously making the College World Series. So Wright coming to Bourne along with Henry Davis. Then a couple guys from LSU and Florida can really bolster this roster. Kerry Wright did struggle in his freshman campaign. Only 9 1/3 innings of work, a 10.61 ERA, 13 walks, and 8 strikeouts. But he's got a big frame, 6'4", 235. And he was a 21st-round pick out of high school. That's pretty impressive by the Tampa Bay Rays.
Scouts always talk about he's got a good body, or got a good build is what they call it. And Kerry's definitely got that. That'll help you get drafted out of high school. Decided to go up to Louisville from Montverde, Florida. So it's 2 Florida boys going at each other to start off the fourth. Langworthy will lead off the inning just like he did the second. First pitch he sees from Wright, a fastball just off the outside edge to begin Wright's summer. This is his first appearance. Final line for Sean Harney out of UMass. He went 3 innings pitching, 3 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them earned, with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Ball sits low to Langworthy, so, not a terrible line, maybe questionable that they pulled him so early. I think the pitch count might have had to do with it because so many long at-bats were worked by these Doors hitters. 2-0, spanked over towards the right side. That's fielded on a forehand nicely by the second baseman, McKenzie. Easy put out over to first base on a play that was anything but.
Yeah, nice play by McKenzie. Hard contact from Langworthy.
Grayson County
who struck
College,
out his first
Taylor
time up. But yeah, talking about Harney, Danny, he looked pretty good. Looked like his fastball didn't have nearly as much zip as a guy like, say, Franco Aleman. Commodores were able to square up a couple of balls, but I also think he got the early hook because he's only pitched in middle relief. This was his first start of the summer, and the longest he's gone in a game is 3 innings. So maybe they're trying to work him into a little bit of a longer start in the coming weeks.
First pitch to Taylor Smith, righty-righty matchup, is a ball taken up and in. Smith, a Texas native, going off to play his sophomore year at Grayson County College, a JUCO, so that he can go somewhere D1 for his junior year, just like Aleman. 1-0 is spiked in the dirt, and I think I know why Kerry Wright had some trouble his freshman year.
Yeah, and you mentioned how it was his first time this summer on the mound. The last time he's been pitching in a game was over a month ago against Florida State. He only pitched a third of an inning, gave up 1 hit, 3 earned runs, and walked 2. So he definitely wants to get that taste out of his mouth, but he needs to get rid of those control issues.
The 2-0 swung on, fouled away by Smith. As both batters have gotten ahead 2-0, Langworthy swung at the 2-0, grounded out. Now Smith swings at the 2-0, pops it foul. Falmouth with a 3-0 lead. They scored 2 runs in the first, 1 run in the third. Tim Tawa is the reason for 2 of those runs. Only has 1 RBI because the double play back in the first doesn't give him an RBI, but did have a sacrifice fly last inning on a very shallow ball. 2-1, up and in, 3-1.
Yeah, and Blake Dunn helped him out there, right?
Yeah.
That was not like a
He
deep
bailed him
fly
out.
ball into center field for an easy sac fly. Blake Dunn sort of made it happen almost single-handedly.
The 3-1 to Smith. Swung on, fouled away yet again. Count now goes full. It was some Blake Dunn trickery because evidently what happened was he turned around back to walk towards third base, and then when that happened, DiGiacomo took his eyes off of it, kind of got maybe, comfortable out in center field, and then right when DiGiacomo took his eyes off of Dunn, Dunn turned around and sprinted home. Payoff pitch from right. Ground ball up the middle, high chopper. It's going to stay playable for the second baseman, McKenzie. His throw on to first. Nice scoop on a throw in the dirt by Brewster. And it's a 4-3 putout for the second straight batter, but yet again, a lot tougher than it looked.
And that was a really nice curveball from right. I feel like sometimes we analyze pitches that are swung on and missed or pitches that are laid off, but that was a really good curveball. And because it dropped so late, Smith was on top of it. High chopper and not an easy play for McKenzie to make because it got there so slowly. He's been looking solid at second base.
Yeah, it's one of those where the drop angle is just so severe that the only thing you can do is pound it right back into the dirt if you're a hitter.
Right.
Ball 1 is a fastball taken in that dirt by Jackson Coots. Coots saw only 1 pitch his first time up in the second, swung at it and flew out to left. Left-handed bat from URI. Swings at this one, and he blasts it into right field. Will be playable for Noah Bridges. He makes the grab in right center, and that will retire the side. It's the first 1-2-3 inning worked by Bourne pitching, and it's thanks to Kerry Wright. We will head to the home fourth. 3-0 Falmouth on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. I still am not that happy with that. I got to work on the speed now. I got the pronunciation of Caterpillar Dealer down finally.
If you
I'm going to have nightmares about this PSA read, I swear to God.
If you have been listening to our broadcasts, you would know that David Korzenowski has struggled getting through the Milton Cat read, which is legitimately 4 lines, 3.5 lines.
It's 2 sentences.
It's 2 sentences,
literally
but
2 sentences.
your Cape and Islands Caterpillar Dealer always trips him up.
Yeah.
So he was 0 for 3.
Yeah.
But now, hey, you're 1 for 4. You're batting 250. Not bad. Franco Aleman throws a first pitch fastball that is shot right back through the middle by Jimmy Glowenke. He improves to 2 for 2, wastes no time getting on base here in the 4th. And that's the 3rd hit for Bourne and the first one that occurs with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, he's got a good strategy. Swing at the first pitch. The more I watch these guys on the Cape, I think if a guy on the mound like Franco Aleman is giving a batting order as much trouble as he has been giving Bourne today, you got to start swinging early. You got to start doing different things, because what Aleman has been doing is he fires a couple first pitch strikes, which are sometimes swung on, sometimes not, and then he can do whatever he wants. He's not throwing balls. He's not going to give you anything.
He throws a first pitch breaking ball to Cade Beloso, trying to change up the pace. Drops in perfectly right at the knees for a strike. Beloso, his last time up, grounded right back to Aleman, who threw him out at first. One of 3 1-3 putouts. 3-0 Commodores lead here in the 4th. Ground ball left side. That one is going to sneak through the hole between 5 and 6. Beautifully placed by Cade Beloso. I don't know if he deserves any credit for where it was placed, but nonetheless, it's a single, and there are runners on 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, we had a great angle on that, too, because we were sort of staring at that ball and watching as it went under the outstretched glove of Tawa and just to the left of the outstretched glove of Kendall. He almost got there. Even if he got his glove on that and was able to stop it, it would have been a really tough play to make the throw.
Pretty much
his body moving towards the left side.
Pretty much only would have been able to make that play if he wasn't in double play depth. That's why he was so far away from it.
Right.
Back in double play depth with runners on 1st and 2nd and nobody out. High fastball to Nick Brewster around the neck will be called ball 1.
Let's see how Aleman responds here. He didn't give up an earned run against Chatham, only allowed 1 hit. Really didn't have many runners on the base paths. Hyannis, he gave up 1 run in those 4 innings of work before the game was called, but this is one of the first jams we've really seen him in with 2 on and nobody out.
1-0, swung on and missed. The fastball not afflicted by the jam at all. It still got just the same amount of zip, and Brewster couldn't catch up. Nick, a Stanford Cardinal, just like Tim Tawa, who stands over at 3rd base. So 2 Cardinals on the field right now, 90 feet apart, but wearing different uniforms in the summertime. Brewster so far is 1 for 7 to start his Cape League summer. Aleman comes set with the glove right around his chin, lifts and fires home, shows bunt, popped up in the air behind home plate, way too far away for Smith to have a play. Count now 1-2 after the failed bunt attempt.
I'm interested to follow Brewster this summer, playing first base tonight for Bourne. We saw a first baseman from Stanford last year on the Cape, and he was one of the best players in the league in Andrew Dashbach.
Dashbach was on Bourne, wasn't he?
He was on YD.
YD, okay.
Yeah, because they had such a great hitting lineup, and Dashbach was a huge part of that, their cleanup guy.
Aleman's 1-2. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Taylor Smith popped up so quickly that it fooled me for a second. Thought it was called a ball, but a punch out by Rick Emerson. Huge strikeout for Aleman for out number 1.
And Aleman doesn't try to strike out a ton of guys. It's not his bread and butter to be getting a ton of Ks in his games, because in 65 and 2/3 innings of work at FIU, he had 53 strikeouts. So less than a strikeout per inning, and about that pace so far today with 3 in 4 innings of work.
First pitch fastball this time to the lefty Noah Bridges is fouled back. It's also interesting that his 2 strikeouts have both been with fastballs. So, or pardon me, 2 of his 3 strikeouts have been with fastballs. That one was out over the outside part of the plate. Just got to think that Beloso wasn't expecting it, but he's a guy who loves to throw his fastball, loves to establish it, and he does so with 2 strikes. Ahead 0-1 on the right fielder Bridges. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right side, this could be 2. Cantrell will just go for 1, and he will not get there in time as his jump throw from right behind second base towards the outfield grass and center skipped on its way to Jackson Coots, and Bridges was there in plenty of time to beat it out.
At bat, number 7 from Boston College.
It's an infield hit, and again, because they're playing at double field depth, Cantrell can get to that ball and try to make the play. Just the momentum carrying him away from first base. Not a play that he makes very often.
I feel like he had a play at second.
I think so too.
I don't know why he forced the throw over to first base, but
because it's Beloso who's at second base, the DH, not with a ton of speed.
Yeah. First pitch now coming to Cody Morissette is a strike on the outside corner. Morissette with a huge opportunity. Bourne trailing 3-0, but he is the go-ahead run at the plate. Bases loaded, only 1 out. Morissette, who was named to the ACC tournament team after Boston College nearly ran the table, led by Morissette's multiple home runs. Takes a ball inside, and I was at that ACC tournament, and he was just unreal.
Yeah, he had some really great games and series this year, especially the ACC tournament. He had 2 doubles against Notre Dame on May 18th. That was the last regular season series of the year for those 2 teams.
1-1 from Aleman, grounded. This should be 2, right to short. Flip onto second for 1, on to first, in time. 6-4-3 double play turned by Kendall, Cantrell, and Coots. They get it done, and Aleman somehow gets out of the jam. No runs, scored on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We go to the top of inning number 5, 3-0 in favor of the Doors.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Cans and all other recyclable materials.
Welcome back to Bourne. Top of the 5th we go here at Durand Park. The Falmouth Commodores leading the Bourne Braves 3-0 with a chance to tack on more. Daniel LaRose and David Korzanowski here on the call up on the Cape. And David, we talked about how it was supposed to rain, and that subsided. We've had some pretty hot days lately. Starting to feel like summer in Massachusetts.
Yeah, absolutely. And the clouds have now opened up. It's a beautiful baby blue sky looking down on Durand Park. It was a little bit, I don't think today was hot because it was a lot of cloud cover, so the sun wasn't shining as much. But a couple days ago, it was 90.
First pitch to the 9-hitter Kevin Kendall, swung on and fouled back 0-1. And most importantly, I think, is when you know it's summer in Massachusetts, is when in Cape Cod you get all the fans, all the tourists start coming in. It's always easy to see it on the weekends. Of course, tonight's a Saturday in Bourne, and it is a pretty full house.
How about YD yesterday? That was one of the best crowds we've seen.
Packed. 0-1 to Kendall, misses high. So that you know when the traffic starts to get a little bit bad, when the supermarket is
That's where I thought you were going to go was you know it's summer on Cape Cod when there's traffic.
Well, there's always usually traffic, but the supermarket is usually, you know, more out of stuff. Foul ball 1 and 2, and the Cape Cod League games start to get a lot more attention. Such is the case tonight in Bourne. Again, pretty sizable crowd. Love these weekend games. Falmouth has yet to really have a weekend game, it seems like. A weekend home game, I should say. Here's the 1-2. Kendall spanks it foul again. And a guy who has never been able to pitch at home, Franco Aleman, but he doesn't care because he's showing wherever he is.
Yeah, that's always interesting, just the way the rotation works out as well as the schedule, especially with all these makeup games.
The Commodores have a 4-game homestand starting tomorrow. They'll take on the Chatham Anglers at 6 p.m.
Here's the 1-2 from right, and he misses low. Good take by Kendall on a breaking ball that stayed below the knees.
Commodores playing a few Eastern Division opponents in these next few days, as they got Chatham, Orleans, and Brewster on the docket.
2-2 fastball well high. Count will run full to Kendall, who reached base his first time up with a single.
You ready for a random stat?
Bring it.
So the Commodores playing 3 Eastern Division opponents coming up, right?
Right.
Bourne has only played 1 team in division.
Payoff pitch from right, skips in the dirt, and how about Kevin Kendall? Falling behind 1-2, now works a walk to lead off the inning. So Bourne has only faced teams in the division so far.
No, Bourne
Except once.
Bourne has played 12 games.
Okay.
They are 1-0 against the Western Division.
Oh,
the
okay.
only game they've played against anyone in the West was against Falmouth, a 10-2 win. Otherwise, they've been playing all Eastern Division teams.
So not too much travel for them coming up in July.
Right.
Not bad.
Because they haven't played Katuitt, they haven't played Wareham, and they haven't played Hyannis yet, which is crazy.
Wonder if they've already knocked out a season series against someone out east.
Yeah, I would think so.
Hayden Cantrell will now be the hitter with nobody out and a runner on first. Cantrell 0 for 2 so far, reached base and scored on an error his first time up. He watches a first pitch fastball skip in the dirt. Gary Wright really can't find the strike zone right now. It's a miracle he was able to get a 1-2-3 4th inning.
Yeah, he looked pretty sharp in that 4th inning, but much different here in the 5th. And granted, got to give Kendall credit for working a long at-bat, working the count full, getting a free pass.
1-0 to Cantrell, who's batting from the left side, fouled back. 4th inning, we didn't see a lot of strikes called or swung through, but Langworthy, Smith, Coots all faced a couple of balls, got ahead in counts, but when they did make contact, they put it right at a fielder. Made Wright's job easier. Kendall's running on the 1-1. It's a fastball high. Throw down to second is way off the base, and Kendall will slide in easily with a stolen base. Falmouth continues to run rampant on catchers on the Cape.
First in the Cape League in stolen bases. They're just adding to that lead now. I'll mention it every game because every game you know they're going to be aggressive on the base paths. Now 22 swiped bags on the year. And keep in mind that stat, most in the Cape League with the fewest amount of games played.
So now Kevin Kendall looking like Hayden Cantrell with his entire front caked in dirt. 2-1, Hayden shows bunt, pulls it back, takes it low. So Cantrell gets himself into a friendly hitter's count, 3-1 strike. Interesting that you would see your hottest hitter on your team and the Cape leader in batting average show bunt, but he gets a ball nonetheless.
I like this too because, right, a guy struggling with control, try to rattle him a little bit. Steal, show bunt, get in his head.
The 3-1 from right. High ball 4. Hayden Cantrell gets on base yet again because he always does. Leads the Cape in average. Got to be up there in on-base percentage at this point. He has now worked his 3rd walk in the last 2 games.
There is a righty warming in the Bourne bullpen. Can't see it from our vantage point. And now some signs from Jacob Campbell, the catcher.
Blake Dunn will be the hitter with 2 runners on and nobody out. He's another guy who gets on base a ton thanks to leading the team in walks. Has a walk and a double today, 2 runs scored. So he is the reason Falmouth has this 3-0 lead. He's at least 2/3 of the reason why. First pitch to Dunn, swung on and missed. 0-1.
Right, with some zip on that fastball. Number 13 number 13 player in Florida coming out of high school by perfect game.
0-1 to Dunn is a breaking ball that he fouls back. He finds himself in an 0-2 hole.
And a punch out here would be huge.
Yeah.
Double play would then end the inning. How about that double play by the Commodores to get out of the
It's a tough one.
bottom of the 4th? Yeah, we didn't talk about that coming back, but that saved a run, maybe 2 if that inning kept going on.
It was also a tough ground ball. It was very close at both second and first. Here's the 0-2 to Dunn. Check swing, but he fouls it back. Great way to waste away a good pitch. Dunn will keep the count at 0-2. Blake, who has some very conflicting recent streaks, came into tonight with 3 strikeouts in his last 5 at-bats. That doesn't look pretty. But also had 3 walks and only 2 at-bats registered in the last 2 games. So that looks pretty good, just getting on base so much with the walk. Added another one today. Here's the 0-2, watches it low. This is something we've seen before from Dunn. He fell behind 0-2 his first time up this ball game, worked it 3-2, and then got on base with, of course, a walk. Looking to do the same, if not, make contact right here against Wright. Right from the stretch. Looks back Cantrell, kicks and fires home the 1-2. Chopper over towards third base. This could be 2. Throw on to second for 1. On to first. Not in time. Blake Dunn beats it out, and it will be a fielder's choice while he advances Kendall onto third.
Dunn busting down the line. We mentioned his speed countless times. I think he beat it out regardless, but I also think that Brewster might have strayed off the bag on the stretch because McKenzie knew he had to get it out of his hand in a hurry. It wasn't the best of throws from second base.
So Blake Dunn continues to reach base. He's now gotten on base all 3 times he's gotten up. Trey Cruz will come up to the plate, looking to get an RBI with a runner on third. Dunn's going to go. Cruz is going to swing. He pops it out into shallow left field. Coming on in is Hess. He will make the grab. Kendall fakes the tag up this time.
Dunn's going to get
Dart
back.
Comes in home, and Dunn is going to be tagged up at first. Blake had no idea that that ball was caught out in left field. He had rounded second, and it was way too late coming back on the relay over to first. So that will be a 7-2-3 putout on the double play. Base running errors continue to woe the Commodores as they will leave this inning scoring no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 3-0 Doors on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Falmouth leading 3-0, but base running mistakes continue to plague them as they ended the game last night on a base running mistake. Throw out at second base caught Deloach as strike number 1 is thrown past Jacob Campbell. Ended the first inning with Deloach getting picked off, and now end the 5th inning with Dunn getting picked off of first on a very wacky play. Here's Aleman's 0-1 to Jacob Campbell. Quickly becomes 0-2 to the right-handed swinging catcher.
So I can't get in the head of Blake Dunn. I'll have to ask him about it a little bit later, but I think he didn't know how many outs there were because he was stealing second base. He got to second, and he watched that fly ball into the mitt of Hess, but he just stayed at second even when the throw came in, even when Hayden Cantrell was dancing off of third. By the time he realized it, way too late.
The 0-2 from Aleman is a fastball chopped over towards third base. Tawa fields it high, throws high, but Coots tall enough to reel that one in. It's a 5-3 putout to begin the 5th.
So a couple double plays to end the last frames that we've seen. And Aleman worked out of a huge jam in the 4th. The bases were loaded with 1 out.
He passed your test. That's something you mentioned at the start of the inning when it was first and second, nobody out, was you said, we've never really seen Aleman get into trouble. And you were wondering how he was going to get out of it. Well, unscathed.
Absolutely.
First pitch to the left-handed swinging Giovanni DiGiacomo is taken for a strike. DiGiacomo from Naples, Florida. Took his talents to Baton Rouge. Just finished up his freshman year with the Tigers of Louisiana State. As now the count is 1-1 as that fastball skips in the dirt.
And I know it's early, Danny, but if Alamon keeps this up, he should be an all-star, really.
Right.
I mean, this is his second start, and he still hasn't allowed an earned run.
1-1 from Franco. Way out ahead of it is DiGiacomo as he chops it right back into his own arm.
But he's looking as sharp as the guys we saw last summer, as sharp as anyone we've seen on the Cape. Now in his 5th inning of work, still hasn't given up an earned run, just 5 hits today for Bourne. But again, all of them singles. They're just getting him into the outfield, if that.
Here's the 1-2. Fastball, late swing by DiGiacomo, but he just gets a piece to stay alive. And something I wanted to comment on was he doesn't have like the Nick Nastrini or the Thomas Gerard type movement. Like he doesn't have that nasty stuff where you look at it and you're just like, oh boy, this is like a wiffle ball out here. He's pretty much got a fastball curveball combo that he does to get a lot of contact. Fastball here on 1-2 misses high to make it 2-2. He's gotten a lot of early swings and a lot of quick outs, keeping his pitch count low. And I don't know what it is, but he's not a lights-out pitcher in the strikeout sense of things, only 3 Ks, but he's been lights out in that he's kept everybody, off the base paths. Franco's 2-2. Slow ground ball towards the right side. Speak the devil. There's another easy play for the infield. 4-3 put out, and there's quickly 2 up and 2 down.
So we've only seen 2 flyouts today, Danny. Otherwise, everything's been kept on the ground. And then those singles that we mentioned.
That's honestly more impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, a pitcher who can keep the ball on the ground and not be a fly ball pitcher, I'd take that any day over a guy who racks up 10 Ks.
Yeah, because then you're limiting the pitch count, too.
Yeah. First pitch fastball just below the knees to Kyle Hess.
Because it takes longer to strike out a guy than it does, if you average out, they're swinging in at bats and grounding out. So it's more efficient.
The 1-0 to Hess swings and fouls it away towards the left side. Additionally, fly ball pitchers lend themselves to allowing more home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Franco doesn't have to worry about that. Rocking the stirrups with the black stripe. Here's his 1-1. Breaking ball on the outside corner. The curveball continues to hit the spot. It's like throwing a dart right through the bullseye.
And Hess has struggled. Weak ground ball back to Alamon and a K.
This is another weak ground ball back to Alamon. Takes 1 chop off of the plate, and then a soft toss from Alamon to Jackson Coots for another 1-3 putout. 3 straight ground balls will do it in the 5th inning. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Alamon and the Doors. We will head to the top of the 6th. Falmouth leading 3-0.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20 plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
At bat, number 17.
We begin the top of the 6th here at Durand Park in Bourne, Massachusetts, with the Falmouth Commodores leading 3-0, and a new pitcher coming on for Bourne. It's going to be Nick Iverson coming on for his team leading, tied for the team lead, I should say, 4th appearance for the Braves.
Yeah, rising senior at Gonzaga, 5.05 ERA during his junior campaign. 1 save, 67 2/3 innings of work. And he also was a workhorse out at school, 26 appearances during his junior year.
So Iverson, the right-hander from Oakville, Ontario, rocks and fires his first pitch of his outing, a fastball below the knees to Trey Cruz, who's batting from the right side for the first time today. Pardon me, is that Cruz or is that?
Tawa.
Tawa, yeah, Tawa. Tawa now takes a fastball for a strike on the inside corner.
Not everyone can be a switch hitter, Danny.
1-1 the count. Iverson's pitch. Ground ball right side. That finds the hole between second base and first base, and Tawa is on base.
And he had an RBI with that sac fly in the 3rd. A run also scored on the double play that he grounded into in the 1st. But I think he kind of needed that one, right? Those first 2 at-bats, maybe not the result he wanted, especially considering the circumstances.
Right.
You got nobody out and the bases loaded, ground into a double play. Sure, you'll take the lead, but you want to do a little bit more than that. Same thing with the sac fly, in which Blake Dunn really did most of the work.
Zach DeLoach swings at the first pitch he sees, lines one right at the left fielder Hess, who misplays the ball terribly and somehow makes up for it. That one had some splitting action towards the right of Hess, and it was tough for him to track. He came in on it when it was really sailing over his head and over his right shoulder, makes a jumping catch to cut it off, or else that would have been a double, if not more.
I'm writing that one down as an L7 because that one was not a fly ball. It was on like a straight line out into left field. Tough for Hess to track, but he got bailed out.
First pitch is a ball to Austin Langworthy, who's 0 for 2.
Because it came to him in such a hurry that he didn't have time to backtrack, and he didn't really know the speed that that ball was coming at him with, so he had to jump and make a snow cone catch.
Tawa running from first. Langworthy swings at the pitch. Looked like it was going to sail low. He fouls it away. Might have been a hit and run, as the count now evens up to a ball and a strike. Nick Iverson, I mentioned it's his 4th appearance. He got an appearance on opening day at Orleans, pitched an inning, got a strikeout, didn't allow any base runners, then pitched again against Orleans in a 9-0 Bourne loss, threw 2 1/3, allowed only 1 run, 2 hits, 2 Ks, so not bad at all. 1-1 to Langworthy is taken for a strike, then pitched at Chatham in yet another loss, threw an inning, allowed a walk, but still faced the minimum. So Nick Iverson, 3 appearances, pretty stellar with a 2.07 ERA, but none of those outings have resulted in a Bourne win. 1-2 will have to wait as Tawa is checked on first base.
And maybe we haven't given enough credit to the Bourne pitching staff. A 3 even ERA as a staff. That's second in the Cape League behind just Orleans. Holding opponents to hitting .225. That's the 3rd best batting average against on the Cape.
1-2, taken just off the outside corner.
And something that they do really well, too, is they don't walk guys. What they can control, they can. They've only issued 3 walks today, which is actually kind of high for them. Entering the night, they just had 29 on the summer.
It's also a Falmouth team that walks a ton.
Yep.
Tawa looks like he's edging to steal, but he's going to get checked on again. I don't know the official number where they rank on the Cape, and granted they've got less games played, but Dunn walks a ton. A couple other guys getting on base. Cantrell walking a lot recently, helping out those numbers. 2-2 comes home to Langworthy. Check swing, chopper up the left side, goes foul, so he'll have another chance. Austin Langworthy trying to avoid the strikeout. He has struck out in 8 straight games now, and over a third of his at-bats result in a strikeout. 26 at-bats and 9 Ks.
Not great. You want to fix that number. And I don't know what it is with Austin. Oh, also he's wearing batting gloves now. I just noticed that.
Good catch. Here's the 2-2 yet again. Takes a looping swing, fouls one away towards the left side again. So maybe when he lost the bat in that first at-bat, I think it was, when it just flew out of his hands, he decided maybe the batting gloves give me better grip. He's putting together a good at-bat right here, forcing Iverson to throw a lot of pitches. Iverson comes set with the glove right at the belt. Tawa dancing off of first. He's going to go. The 2-2. High and outside. It's ball 3. Sliding in feet first and safely is Tim Tawa down at second base. And the Doors continue to be perfect on the base paths.
Tawa moves to a perfect 3 for 3 in stolen base attempts. And it's just almost like routine now.
Yeah.
That if you get a guy on first who's in the top half of the order, even your cleanup guy, right?
Right.
Tim Tawa's the cleanup guy, and he just stole second base.
Payoff pitch to Langworthy, taken low, ball 4. So the stolen base won't mean much except for a stat patter as Austin Langworthy works out a walk and a fantastic at-bat nonetheless.
Worked a 3-2 count his first time up in the second inning. Ended up striking out, but a couple good takes. And 2 straight balls from Iverson on the 2-2 and then the 3-2.
Taylor Smith will be the hitter with the Doors leading 3-0 in the 6th inning, 1 out and 2 runners on. And I don't know how to gauge Falmouth's base running right now because when they steal bases, they're perfect pretty much every time,
right? Except
for maybe Deloach last night, a couple other times they've been thrown out. So I don't know if they're, if they're really good on the base paths, but then they got picked off a ton.
Right.
So where do they fall as ball 1 sails well outside to Smith?
Well, I think what both of those say is that they're just risky, right? If you're taking more risks, you're naturally going to get caught more because as soon as you have more attempts, right?
Right.
The percentages are eventually going to even out.
High risk, high reward, though.
Exactly.
They're able to steal a lot of bases, but as long as they can get going, they're usually safe. When they're caught in their tracks, like on pickoffs, they're usually out as ball 2 comes too far inside to Smith. Smith with a good opportunity to really put a stamp in this game. He's got a runner on second and a runner on first. Less than 2 outs and a 2-0 count. Smith with only 1 hit so far on the summer, now in 2 games played. That hit was a home run coming against Hyannis in a 1-for-5 game. Iverson's 2-0. Fastball outside, 3-0.
And this is a guy who did not walk a lot of batters at school, just 22 walks in 67 2/3 innings pitched in his junior year.
Jackson Coots stands on deck. I'm sure he is salivating at the chance with the bases loaded and 1 out. First, we need to see a ball. Here's the 3-0 from Iverson. It's downstairs to Smith, a 4-pitch walk. He is on base for the 2nd time, and the bases are juiced yet again for the Falmouth Commodores.
All right. Here we go again. Chapter 7 of the Doors bases loaded saga. And so far, it has not been a happy tale for Falmouth. They had the bases loaded in the first with nobody out. There's a double play that scored a run. Okay, that's better than no runs scored, but not what you want, especially with nobody down. Quick conference from Harvey Shapiro, the manager of the Bourne Braves, and now 1 out. They had this opportunity last night. Blake Dunn struck out, followed by another out, and they came up empty. That was the difference in the game yesterday, Danny, and even with a 3-0 lead here, this is a great opportunity for them to take something that has been a struggle for them the last 2 games and try to break it open and change the tide.
This could be the difference right here. Jackson Coots, bases loaded, 1 out. First pitch he sees, a curveball at the knees. So it sounds like pitching coach Ace Adams. I got to correct you just because I want to comment that Ace Adams, amazing baseball name.
Really
especially for a pitching coach.
Yeah.
Ace Adams had a very brief conversation with Iverson, and right away he throws a beautiful curve. 0-1 to Coots. Another curveball. This time it's a little too far inside. Count will even up. So the fastball was missing. Now they're going to the breaking ball some more, but Jackson still has the count even. Gets some support from Brett Becker at third base. He's got Tawa at third, Langworthy at second, Smith at first. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball right side. This could be 2. From 4 to 6 to 3, a double play. And yet again, the Falmouth Commodores cannot do anything with the bases loaded. They score no runs on 1 hit, no errors committed by Bourne. And again, bases loaded, nothing doing after the double play. We will head to the home 6th, 3-0 Falmouth on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Bottom 6 we go from Duran Park in Bourne. Daniel LaRose joined alongside David Korzanowski on the call for this one, where the Doors are leading the Braves 3-0, although it could be a lot more.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's honestly kind of impressive, absurd. I don't know the words to use at this point, but you have the bases loaded 7 times in the span of 3 games, and you score what? 1 run? 2 runs? And they've had opportunities with 2 outs, 1 out, no outs. I mean, I don't know. I'm
at a loss for words.
Very rarely am I at a loss for words, but I am here.
0-1 the count to Jake McKenzie. First pitch he fouled back. Second pitch is a beautiful fastball that paints the outside black. One guy who has been magnificent all season and especially tonight, Franco Aleman, trying to continue that into the 6th, and he's off to a great start. Backdoor breaking ball in the outside corner, strike 3 called. He gets Jake McKenzie on only 3 pitches.
Later in the game, pitch count becomes that much more important. 3-pitch strikeout. And listen to this ratio, Danny. 66 pitches thrown from Aleman. 52 strikes. That is awesome. When you're pounding the strike zone the way that he has been, you're setting yourself up for success.
He throws strike 53 right down Broadway to the 3-hitter Jimmy Glowenke, who's really the only guy who has gotten to Aleman. 5 hits for Bourne, 2 of them coming from Glowenke. Both of them solid hits. This one grounded sharply off the bag. It looks like maybe hit the lip of the grass and jumped over the diving Jackson Coots. He went down because he knew he had to dive for it, and all of a sudden skipped 5 feet over his glove. And that's another single for Glowenke. He's 3 for 3.
Yeah, he got a little help from the lip of the grass, Danny. That is exactly where it hit. Right down the first base line, and it stayed to the left of the base path. And Coots was well positioned. I mean, he was diving because he would have needed to have dove to make that play, but just an unlucky hop. 3 for 3 goes Glowenke.
That's a mouthful, don't worry. Goes Glowenke is a tough one to say. Ball one goes outside to Cade Beloso. So I mentioned how Bourne's out hitting Falmouth 6-4. Glowenke now has 3 of those hits. He's got half of their hits. All of those have been hard shots. A couple of the other hits, infield singles.
Yeah.
Not much going on for Bourne other than Glowenke. 0-1 to the cleanup man, Cade Beloso. Curveball sits right down the middle, 1-1. Beloso has one of those hits. He's 1 for 2, a ground out back to the pitcher, and a single in the 4th where he was stranded on second base.
3rd game of the summer, and he looks sharp. Maybe found a home in that cleanup spot.
This one grounded right back to short. Kendall flips to Cantrell for 1. On to first. Double play. 6-4-3 turned by the Falmouth defense, and it has been ground ball double plays galore for both sides. Falmouth gets out of the inning, allowing no runs on the 1 hit, no errors, and that 1 hit erased just as immediately as he got on base. We will head to the top of the 7th inning. The Doors leading 3-0.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. Happy to be with you on this beautiful evening in Bourne, Massachusetts. First pitch from Iverson is a strike to the 9-hitter Kevin Kendall. Nobody scored since the top of the 3rd, ever since it's been a pitcher's duel. Aleman shining the brightest. Ball 1, off speed, misses low.
I don't know how much of a pitcher's duel really, though, because, I mean, Falmouth has loaded the bases. Bourne has loaded the bases. Both times, both teams get a ground ball double play and get no runs.
Ball 1 high, ball 2 high and outside.
So it's not like it's been 1-2-3 inning after
Sure.
1-2-3 inning.
Aleman has looked exceptional.
Yeah.
70 pitches through 6 innings of work. Kendall lifts one into shallow left field. It's going to range into foul territory. Sliding, but he can't get there, is Kyle Hess. So Kendall will stroll back to the batter's box for his 2-2 count.
You got away with one right there. Morissette, the third baseman, came within inches of catching it. Glowenke, the shortstop, came within inches of catching it. Kyle Hess slid right in between the two of them, and neither of them could come down with it. Kind of a Bermuda Triangle of sorts falling in between them. And Kendall gets lucky now with a chance to try to capitalize.
1 for 1 on the day is Kendall. His last time up, he walked and stole a base. That was in the 5th. Commodores had the bases loaded in the 6th, but were unable to put any runs across. They got a 3-run lead on the Braves. Similar swing, this one lifted over to Morissette. He barely has to move, and he makes the catch in fair territory for out number 1.
Two just kind of, I don't know how you would call it, but
At bat, number 5.
faulty swings from Kendall, where he's just kind of throwing the bat head out at it and doesn't really know what pitch is being thrown, doesn't really know where it's going. Kind of tough to track some of those on the outside part of the plate with some off-speed action coming from Iverson. Kendall was fooled both times, just did his best to at least foul it.
Hitting Cantrell takes a big swing, comes up empty. Takes the helmet off and regathers as he steps in for his third at-bat. He walked in the fifth, and he takes strike number 2. Iverson clearly settling down here in the 7th after issuing 2 walks in the 6th inning. Third pitcher of the evening for Bourne. The 0-2 into deep left field. Hess ranging in, and he makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down for Iverson.
Iverson has really settled in now after he came in the 6th and got the bases loaded thanks to a couple of walks, throwing a lot more strikes in this inning and a lot tougher pitches. He's been keeping the ball outside and about knee-high to these lefties, which is exactly what you want to do against a couple of guys who like to pull the baseball.
Blake Dunn, 1 for 2, 2 runs scored, and a walk. Fastball down the middle, which he takes. 0-1. Righty-righty matchup. Iverson standing at 6-1. Delivers high. 1-1. Blake Dunn has moved all up and down this batting order, been as low as 8. The 1-1 is fouled out of play, 1-2. Iverson working very quickly, wasting no time on the mound. He settles in the windup, looks in to his catcher, Jacob Campbell. Exhales and begins his motion. Curveball into right field, foul territory. Nice hustle by Noah Bridges, but he can't get there. Count stays the same.
And he is just peppering the strike zone right now. I mean, not giving anything out of the zone. A 2-2 count to Kevin Kendall, but it seemed anything but with all the foul balls. Then threw 3 straight great pitches to Cantrell. Now with Dunn is throwing a lot of pitches in the zone that Dunn is unable to get around on.
The 1-2. Curveball check swing. Did he go? Appeal down to first. He did not.
Good call.
Put the brakes on that swing, and the first base umpire, Jeff Kinney, no hesitation on the appeal. So 2-2 and 2 outs. Again, Iverson after 1 shakeoff, quickly working. Fastball, foul tipped, and just in and out of the mitt of Campbell.
2 really close calls for Blake. I mean, he didn't go around on the previous one, but I could see him getting punched out because it was very close. And then right then, nearly squeezed by Campbell, almost became a strikeout victim if the catcher was able to hold on.
He'll get another chance, another fastball, and another foul ball. Nice catch by one of the fans to our right. We've seen a lot of foul balls, especially when Blake Dunn is up in the batter's box.
I was just about to say this mirrors his first at-bat when he worked at 3-2 and walked. A ton of foul balls in that one, too.
Pitch number 8. Fastball cracked into left field, a base hit. Blake Dunn holds up at first after a long turn. And he is now 2 for 3 on the day.
Can Blake's parents come visit every weekend?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, last time they were here, it was against YD when he went 2 for 2 with 4 RBIs thanks to 2 sacrifice flies. And now in this game, 2 brilliant at-bats in the 1st and the 7th. Has a walk, a run scored, a double, a run scored, and now a single. We'll see what the team can do with 2 outs against them and Dunn on first. But regardless, he's putting together a heck of a ball game.
Cruz trying to keep the inning alive. He watches a ball sit low. So a great at-bat worked by Dunn. He now has a double and a single on the evening, as well as 2 runs scored. See if he tries to steal. Check by Iverson over towards first. Bruiser with his right cleat on first base. He's got that glove on his right hand, and Dunn is going. Here is a loud hit into left field, but it'll hang up for Hess. He makes the catch. 3 flyouts for the Commodores, and in between them, a Blake Dunn single. He's left stranded. The Doors add none. It's still 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Coming back a little bit early at Durand Park, David Korzanowski, and we have Katie Florio standing by on the first base line. Katie, what do you got for us on Hayden Cantrell?
Thanks, guys. And, Hayden leads the team in home runs and RBIs right now. And I know you guys have talked about maybe you'd move him to the 3-4 spot just because of the consistent production that he's been given. And I talked to him before the game, and he said he selfishly likes hitting in that leadoff spot just because he gets more at-bats each game. And he said that he sees the case for moving him to the 3 spot. But obviously, if he's having these RBI opportunities, it's showing that the guys in the back of the lineup are producing and getting on base as well. So he doesn't think it's something that should change right now, but later in the season, whatever, he's open to anything.
Thanks a lot, Katie. And Hayden Cantrell, clearly a very flexible, enthusiastic, and hard-working player who has been exceptional this season, leading the team in batting average. Not just the team, the whole 10 teams in the Cape League. Coming into the evening, 378 clip, and he has not moved from that leadoff spot. Tonight, he hasn't had as much success, 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts. He reached on an error and scored a run, also drew a walk. So, Danny, what do you think about that? Because I know that you were the one making the case maybe you put him in one of those power spots.
I respect it.
Yeah.
He selfishly says, I want to get as many at-bats. And you know what? That's this day and age in baseball that's a smart thing to do. I remember people were floating the idea of putting Mike Trout at the leadoff position for Los Angeles, and
right.
I think they did it a couple of years ago for some time. I know whenever I'm playing MLB The Show, I always draft Mike Trout, and I always bat him leadoff because you want the best player in baseball getting as many at-bats as he possibly can. You want the best player on the Cape getting as many at-bats as he possibly can. I respect it from both Trundy and Cantrell. Why not?
I think the one point that really stuck out to me from Katie's hit was talking about how the guys on the back end of the order are getting on, because he points his finger to them as the reason that he has those RBI opportunities.
Absolutely.
That was something we might have overlooked. Robbie Alstrom now comes onto the mound, delivers a first pitch off speed low. So Aleman's day is done. He is in line for the win, and he is in line for much more than that. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. He's got to be in the conversation for one of the best pitchers in the league. Alstrom low, 2-0.
I'm even surprised he got pulled because he still had right around 70 pitches.
Yeah.
So I could have seen him going one more. Maybe they didn't want to push him too hard in only his second appearance, but he stays brilliant. Now it's up to Robbie Alstrom to try to keep things together, who has had his struggles on the Cape so far.
Alstrom with a very inflated ERA right now as he delivers an off-speed strike. On the inside, Blacken at the belt. So an ERA north of 15. Granted, he's only pitched 2 1/3 innings, but he's given up 4 earned runs, 3 against Harwich, 1 against Yarmouth Dennis last Sunday. The 2-1. Under it and back into the screen is Brewser. It's 2-2.
I'm sure everyone in that Bourne dugout is just clapping each other on the back for we got through it. We got past Franco Aleman at this point. Now we can try to we've got a third of a game to go, and we can try to score 3 runs in that time because he just had them totally dead to rights.
Alstrom, the lefty, delivers a curveball, and getting the head of the bat on it is Brewser. It's still a 2-2 count. Alstrom was great at Oregon this past year, 3.93 ERA, 5-7 record. Mainly a starter for the Ducks, 73 1/3 innings of work, 61 Ks. This one tagged into center field. Blake Dunn can't get there, and a leadoff single for Brewser.
That's a great piece of hitting. Can't even blame Alstrom too much. He went with a fastball down in the zone. Looked like it was right below the knees maybe, and got to credit Brewser, just went down and got it. And he kind of had to swing it maybe a pitch out of the zone to try to protect the plate, but had quick hands, was able to get around on it, blast it right back through the middle. And how about the Pac-12 matchup with Stanford coming out on top?
Perhaps a welcome sight for the rest of this Bourne lineup, as Brewser had been having a tough day at the plate with a ground out and a strikeout. But a great piece of hitting here in the 7th. Bourne just trails by 3. Bridges watches a fastball at the knees for a strike. Bridges and UNC Wilmington made a regional. It was the Chapel Hill Regional And in that game against the Tar Heels on the 31st of May, he was great. 3 hits and a home run. Off speed, swung on and missed. Beautiful slider from Robbie Ahlstrom. 1-1.
He's definitely got the stuff. He's got the arsenal to be a very solid pitcher on the Cape. We know that he led Oregon with in ERA at 3.93. We know he had a pretty solid season there. In his first 2 outings, he didn't look all that, but maybe it's just a learning curve for him because some of the stuff has great movement and he can really hit his spots.
0-2 is the count. Lefty-lefty matchup. Ahlstrom kicks and delivers. Fastball low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brewster stands at first. He's not a threat to steal. Has yet to steal a base this summer. Lights turning on here at Duran Park, and the clouds have now completely gone. And even if the rain came, this game would be final as we are through more than 5 innings. The 1-2. Curveball drops in, strike 3. Big K for Robbie Ahlstrom, 1 down in the 7th.
Robbie Ahlstrom opens up the back door, and he lets Noah Bridges walk right through it. That was beautiful, and Bridges' knees absolutely buckled.
And delivers, who went to off speed again, strike number 1 to Morissette. Ahlstrom doesn't bring that right leg up a ton. It's just a quick kick, and he gets to the plate in a hurry. Looks in and delivers. Curveball. Fouled towards the first base dugout. Ahlstrom walking a little bit gingerly. I don't know if he landed perhaps a little weirdly on that pitch. 0-2.
I know we talked about it yesterday. Hayden Cantrell's, Katie talked about it. Hayden Cantrell's leadership and how it comes out even if he doesn't intend it to. I could hear him from over here shouting, go one on that when it was going foul, just to make sure that if that one stayed fair, whoever was going to get to it, whether it's going to be Ahlstrom or Coots, knew just go to first base. I mean, Hayden Cantrell's a leader out in the dugout, just, in their free time, and also on the diamond. That guy really showing out.
And we're going to get a precautionary meeting from Mike Landry, Taylor Smith, and Falmouth's trainer, as well as the home plate umpire, Rick Emerson. Again, when he landed on that pitch, he came towards the ball as it was leaking foul down the first base line. And he kind of limped and did a little hop step, put his hands on his knees, and took an extra breath. Comes back out to the mound, and he says he's all right as Landry and the trainer head back to the dugout. So an 0-2 count to Morissette with Brewster on first. Ahlstrom playing at Oregon, grew up in North Eugene. Now playing his ball on Cape Cod. The 0-2 fastball high, but getting a piece of it is Morissette. Pokes it into the screen, 0-2.
Liking what I see from Ahlstrom right now. A lot of strikes, not letting himself fall behind. And with Morissette, who's one of the better hitters in the Bourne lineup, he's making him kind of nervous out there. It seems like these swings just not really all that.
Another lefty-lefty matchup. The 0-2 fastball breaking outside. 1-2. Ahlstrom also a transfer, and I'm going to butcher this, Chemeketa County College. The 1-2 is poked back to Ahlstrom. Quick turn and throw over to first. A nice play by Ahlstrom, and if he was banged up coming off the mound earlier, he didn't show it there. 2 down.
Doer's pitchers stay perfect when fielding the ball. That is now the 4th ground ball back to the mound, 5th ground ball back to the mound, and 3 of those have been pretty difficult. Aleman had a couple of tough ones where he had to turn around or field it up the first base line. That one even tougher. Morissette with a little bit of speed. Ahlstrom coming off the mound makes it easier that he's a lefty fielding it over on the third base side, so it's just a quick turn and throw. But even then, for pitchers, even when they're throwing strikes, a lot of times when they're throwing over to first base, they can airmail it, they can spike it. He delivers a dart to Jackson Coots on a pretty tough play. Runner does advance, but Ahlstrom does everything right.
Pinch hitter for Bourne. It's Judd Fabian, rising sophomore at Florida. He's a righty and another new guy who was not on the Braves roster when these two teams first met about 2 weeks ago. First pitch from Ahlstrom off speed, stays outside. 1-0. Be interesting to see what Harvey Shapiro, manager of the Braves, does here because he came in for Campbell at the 8th spot. Fabian's listed as an outfielder.
Yeah, he is not a catcher.
Maybe some shuffling around that we'll see, and actually Jackson Greer in the on-deck circle has his shin guards on and his catching gear on, so we might see him next inning. Fastball over towards short. Kevin Kendall fields it on a run and throws on to Jackson Coots. Leadoff single for Nick Brewster is for naught. He's left stranded, and the Doors have held Bourne off the board through 7 innings. We head to the 8th. It's 3-0 Falmouth. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Couple changes for the Bourne Braves here in the top of the 8th. Judd Fabian comes in for Giovanni DiGiacomo out in center field. And also behind the plate, Jacob Campbell's day is done. It's going to be Jackson Greer, Danny. And this is the 3rd time we've seen him with the 3rd different Cape League team.
Got to be a record.
Gotta be.
Unreal.
We saw him in Harwich.
On a doubleheader.
We saw him with YD.
Just one game.
And now we're seeing him coming in the 8th for the Bourne Braves. He has a very recognizable truck. He goes to Eastern Tennessee State University. And he probably has not left the Cape. He's just been bouncing around.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, he's bouncing around from just, what is it? What's the word for the families? Host families to host family house. I mean, just bouncing around from Eastern Division teams now into the West, so he's getting to see all of the Cape. I don't know what it is, whether there's an agreement among the coaches that, like, this guy's good enough, but just, you got to find a spot for him, that we should keep him around. Interesting.
Tawa watches a ball from a new pitcher, J.P. Woodward. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Tawa swings at it and fouls it back. It's 1-1. And we've seen Woodward before, Danny, against Falmouth, and he's now making his 3rd appearance of the summer.
Yeah, his first appearance was against Falmouth in that 10-2 win for Bourne. He only threw a 1/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, 2 walks. His 1 out was a strikeout as he fires a strike right here to Tawa to make it 1-2. So he wasn't really all that great and had a very short leash in that ball game.
The 6'6" lefty with a big windup. Glove goes back and behind his head. He misses low and inside, 2-2.
Then his latest outing at Chatham on June 23rd was a mess. An inning and a third, 4 runs, all of them earned, only 1 hit, 4 walks came back to bite him.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tim Tawa might have gotten a piece of it, but it was caught by Greer nonetheless. First strikeout for Woodward.
No troubles with the walks right here for Woodward. He throws 2 balls, but he throws 3 strikes, and Tawa is set down pretty easily. As long as Woodward can pretty much keep the ball over the strike zone, he can be a very effective pitcher. Big lefty out of Lafayette College.
Had a 5.90 ERA during his sophomore year, 68 2/3 innings pitched. This one is a 2-hopper over towards McKenzie, who fires on to first and gets Deloach. 2 down.
I was saying it to you in between innings, but very curious that Harvey Shapiro opted to go for Judd Fabian in that situation last inning, that he wanted to take out Campbell for his backup catcher, Jackson Greer, just so that Judd Fabian could get a chance with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. He couldn't have even tied the game if he hit a home run, but that's just maybe how desperate Shapiro was with the way his hitting was.
The 0-1 is the count to Langworthy, and then a ball misses low. Langworthy 0 for 2 today, worked a walk in the 6th and made it all the way to second base. He was one of 3 runners with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Bases loaded in the 6th inning, and Jackson Coots came up with 1 out, grounded into an inning-ending double play. The 1-2 from Woodward. Slider breaks too far outside. 2-2.
Just like Iverson, he's working at a breakneck pace.
Yeah, they are going very quick right now. I don't know if that was a instruction from Shapiro or just how this game's going. Soft ground ball over towards first base. Brewster takes it himself, and a 1-2-3 inning worked by Woodward. It goes back to the Braves' bats heading into the bottom of the 8th inning. They still trail by 3 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
We're back a little bit early. Robbie Alstrom out for his 2nd inning of work for the Doors. Trying to have a combined shutout, but a couple innings to go as we take a look at the road ahead for the Commodores. We mentioned that homestand coming up. Chatham, Orleans, and Brewster will all come to town in the next few days. And remember that Orleans game was a rainout originally, so it's been rescheduled. That'll be the first time that the Commodores take on the Firebirds and that outstanding pitching staff. And then a couple of games against Catuit, Danny, at home on the 3rd, and then we get to go to Lowell Park on the 4th.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to see Catuit for the first time this season. Be able to play a little home and home on 4th of July weekend at that beautiful Lowell Park in Catuit. I'm really looking forward to it, and I swear to God if the weather doesn't hold up for it, I'm going to be furious.
Early 7-day forecast right now is showing solid weather for the 4th of July, and then after that, back at home against Chatham and on the road.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.